Hey guys, in today's last video, let's talk about how to get that very effortless, lazy looking golf swing like a Ernie Els or like a Jake Knapp. If you guys want that effortless golf swing, just like the Tour Pros, you have to hit the golf ball late in your downswing. So what I mean by that is that when most amateur golfers think about hitting the golf ball late, they think about, from the top of their backswing, they think about creating this extreme lag position, pulling on the handle, and at the last moment, release all these angles and hit the golf ball. And that is a late hit, but that's not what I'm talking about. That's a very extreme position, and no good golfer that I know of tries to hit the golf ball that way. So what I mean by a late hit is, from the top of our backswing, we have to be very patient and we have to have the correct sequence. So to the top of the backswing, if I fold my right arm and cock and hinge my wrist, we have some of these angles, like roughly around this 90-degree angles. From the top of the backswing, I'm not releasing these angles and I'm not creating more of these angles. I'm just staying very relaxed and I'm not doing a single thing with my arms or my upper body. From this position, I have to learn how to rotate my lower body back to my setup position. Lower body is going to rotate back to my setup position. And from this position, what we want to do is my upper body, my arms should be very, very quiet. So go to top of the backswing and I'm going to rotate my lower body back to my setup position. Then since everything is in my body is connected together, if my lower body rotates back to my setup position, my arms and the golf club is going to fall to roughly around halfway down. From this position, now I'm going to swing my arms towards the target with that same release motion that I always talk about. I'm going to throw the golf club towards the target. So hitting the golf ball late does not mean we're creating lag with our wrist or anything like that. We just have to have the correct sequence. So from the face-on golf swing, what we have to do is go to the top of your backswing position. Lower body is going to rotate back to your setup position. Then from this position, now we can hit the golf ball and release all those angles. And the reason why this late hit creates so much power is because if we hit the golf ball early, like most amateur golfers, we're going to come over the top with our body or we're going to cast these angles coming down. In the downswing, we only have one chance to unleash our speed and unleash our power. So just like a punch, at some point, we're gonna have some angles. As soon as we throw the punch and extend my right arm, it's over. But for most amateur golfers, they punch back here and they're trying to hit the object from this position, which equals no power. We have to shift our weight forward and we have to extend later on, and that's how we're going to break an object or that's how we're gonna knock out our opponent. It has to happen late. So hitting the golf ball far, honestly, we don't need more speed and we don't need more power. Like the feel-wise, of course we need more club head speed, but feel-wise, we don't need to swing the golf club any faster. We don't have to hit the golf ball any harder. We have to have the correct sequence and we have to have a lot of patience in the downswing. Because what naturally happens is that in our backswing position, we have lag, and if we maintain this lag and get our lower body to work back to our setup position, it's not a feel-wise, it's not a powerful move, but from this position, with all these angles left, if I just release these angles towards the golf ball is going to go far distance. But the problem with most amateur golfers is that all these angles goes away before we even try to hit the golf ball. So if you want to have a late hit, we have to have the correct sequence and a lot of patience. So we don't have to hit the golf ball harder, we have to have the patience to hit the golf ball late. So it's going to look something like this. Lower body, back to your setup position, still have to lag. Lower body, back to my setup position, still have to lag. Lower body, back to my setup position, still have to lag. And from this position, release all your angles. And that's how we're going to create that effortless speed and power. And the last thing I want to talk about is that most professionals swing this way. Every good professional has a really good sequence of events. Whether they're thinking about it or not, they have really good sequence. That's why almost every professional hits the golf ball a good distance. And the key point is that they hit the golf ball straight and far, but most amateur golfers don't hit the ball far and they don't hit the golf ball straight. And the reason for that being is that the good thing about a late hit is, like I demonstrated before, if my lower body rotates back to my setup position, my arms falls down to roughly around this halfway back position. So think about this. If you make a half swing with like your wedge or like with a 7-iron, do you ever hit the golf ball out of bounds? Of course, you might shank the golf ball, but if you just hit the golf ball out of the club face, do you hit the golf ball out of bounds with a half? If you make a half swing, like an L to L swing, do you hit the golf ball out of bounds? You probably don't. And if you make a half swing, contact-wise, it's actually pretty much not in a bad position, right? If you make this half swing, contact is going to be pretty good relative to your full swing. So the key is that if you want to hit straight and far, you have to have patience for the correct sequence. And professional golfers, we only make an L to L golf swing. So what I mean by that is that we make a full swing, but as soon as my lower body rotates back to my setup position, the golf club is at halfway back, halfway down. So from this position, I'm just making an L to L half swing with my arms, and that's where all the speed and power comes from. I'm not making this full swing from here to here like most amateur golfers. I'm just making a half swing, and that's how I hit the golf ball straight and far. So let me hit one last one, and hopefully this lesson video, I know I just talked a lot and didn't hit too many shots in this video, but hopefully this could be a big eye-opener, and hopefully you guys can take the same approach, the same lazy approach, and hit the golf ball later. So the part of my golf swing where I feel like I'm actually hitting the golf ball is actually from this position right here, where my hands are pretty much down to around halfway down. And then from this position, I feel like I'm actually throwing the golf club and physically doing something with my hands and my arms. So from this position, let me try to hit one.